Welcome back. Now, as we head for the holiday season, Stats SA records that total income for the tourist accommodation industry ticked up by 2.4% in July, while income from accommodation grew 7.7% year on year during the period. In the meantime, the country remains on track to achieve its goal of 15.6 million tourist arrivals annually by 2030. And as we gear up for this, the 2024 Tourism Business Council of South Africa Leadership Conference recently focused on all things tourism matters. The body's CEO, Tshifhiwa Tshivengwa, joins us with more detail as we talk unlocking new frontiers for tourism growth in the country. Thank you so much for your time, Tshifhiwa. Now, the Tourism Business Council of South Africa recently held its third leadership conference, and it was under the theme Tourism Matters. Just talk to me about the backdrop that informed discussions in this year's installment.
Well, thank you very much for having me. We have been saying for quite a number of years that tourism is an important aspect of the South African economy, an important sector that drives, employment both in urban and rural area, an important, sector that contributes to the GDP, and also a very critical sector that, takes care of young people and also women in South Africa, and an easy sector to get into. And we do believe that it needs to be prioritized more than where it is now. We need to take advantage of the assets that we have as a country, and we need to get as many tourists as possible to come to the country so that we can help in job creation and boosting the economy of this country. So it's a very important sector, and that's what we're highlighting. And that's why we say that tourism matters.
The third conference that you've had, and you say that the goal is to ensure that it is not just a talk shop. In terms of movements, what you have seen, I guess in the last few years, particularly in maybe the last year, what are you most encouraged by that is working in favor of a more robust tourism sector?
Well, we are very much encouraged, when we're at the conference, because we always, invite different departments from the public sector that really works with us in ensuring that there is ease of access, to destination South Africa. So, for the past 3 years, we've been talking about issues around, visas for the, China and India market, and the developments or the movements. But the Department of Home Affairs is quite critical, showing that, there is intent. And that intent of getting more and more tourists and simplifying the processes of Chinese and Indian travelers to come into South Africa, and the fact that we're going to be launching, the new process, which we call the Trusted to Operator program. It is quite encouraging. We've also seen that, the Department of Transport with the permits, operator permits that we've been talking about for quite a number of years, although it's not solved yet. We're encouraged that there is a new system that they will be implementing, which will make it simpler for those that are applying. However, we still need to sort out the backlog and make sure that we are clean from that point of view, and anyone who has applied has the permit to operate. So those things, or things like that, shows that there is progress and there is movement. We still need to see more movements in areas of transformation and inclusivity in tourism. And also more, in area of resilience of the tourism sector, and also making sure that SMMEs, are able to thrive within our space. So there's more work that needs to be done. And what we try to do every year is to say that, here is the feedback from what we discussed in the previous years. This is what we said we're going to do. This is what we've done. This is what we've not completed yet, but this is where we are, so that everybody knows where we're headed to. Because talking and talking, it can be inspirational, but if it doesn't have results in it, it doesn't move the needle.
Indeed. Just talking about the transport industry, aviation capacity, because that is one of the most important kind of puzzle pieces there. Do you think that enough is being done to make sure that it enables fertile ground for, the tourism sector in South Africa to thrive?
Well, we need to do more, and we did have a very good discussion around how aviation enables tourism. And we also talk about what are the things that we need to do right to attract as many airlines into our country. But again, attracting airlines into South Africa is dependent on the bilateral agreements between us as a country and the other country where the other airline is coming from. And also, more importantly, is dependent on the demand. And the demand can only be generated by us using our destination management or marketing organization, which is South African Tourism, to go out there and to market and make sure that there is demand and people want to come to South Africa. That will drive the business case for the airline to say, we want to fly directly into South Africa. So we want more and more airlines to fly directly into South Africa. We want more of our airlines here at home, to reach as many destinations as possible so that, there's ease of travel when people arrive here and we don't have bottlenecks. And also, we also need to get into a space where we can talk about the rail transport.
Yeah.
How do we make sure that it's conducive, for tourists? Our road transportation, do we have good roads to go to tourist destination? Because majority of tourist destinations are in rural areas. So we need to make sure that, in all fronts, we're doing the right things to make sure that tourists come into the country. So aviation, very critical, making sure that we get it right. It's very important for the growth of tourism.
Yeah. I mean, you've mentioned that tourism does not exist alone in this economic ecosystem. You've spoken about, what Home Affairs, for example, is doing to enable more tourism in South Africa. Are there any other collaborations that you are focusing on, low-hanging fruits, in terms of unlocking new opportunities for the tourism sector?
Well, one of the things that we spoke about, and we were, very happy to have the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture, who joined us at the conference on the last day. And we spoke about the intersection of tourism, sports, arts and culture. Because when people travel into the country, there are many people who travel for sports purposes. How do we take advantage of that and make sure that they extend their trips? We also spoke about arts and culture. People do travel for music festivals and for many other traditional things that we do as a country. So we need to make sure that we harness that and we reap the rewards of being a rainbow nation. So that type of intersection, it's important that we continue that discussion. We understand what are the big things that we need to be putting out in the world, and also understanding what are the big events that we need to be attracting into the country, like Formula One, other sporting codes that may not be so popular. It's always important that we go out there and put our best foot forward. And I was glad that the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture invited us, to talk to him and tell him about the sports or the events that we want to be brought into South Africa. That's another critical part because that drives the tourism economy and ultimately is going to drive the economy of this country. So we will be working on that to make sure that we reposition ourselves and to make sure that we are precise in what we want to bring into the country. And we put the resources behind it so that we can then compete or bid for those events.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your insights there, Tshifhiwa. Appreciate it. That was Tshifhiwa Tshivhengwa, CEO of the Tourism Business Council of SA.